everyone. Welcome back to another interview with another author, all part of our Independent Thinking online children's book festival in partnership with Sue Atkins. Sue Atkins, the parenting coach from the telly, you might have seen her. And she created a book club, the Sue Atkins Book Club, which I was sort of invited to. One minute I'm sitting at home, next minute I'm on this Zoom coffee morning with 40 odd, maybe 50 different authors. Just amazing, wonderful people, all with stories to tell, both in terms of their own lives, but also in things that they put into print, all with the focus on helping children be better, whether that's little children, or helping parents be better at helping children be better, or helping teachers be better at helping children be better. And we've covered some meaty topics in the last however many interviews we've done up to now. We've looked at all sorts of things, and then suddenly this book comes along, and it's not about bereavement, it's not about mental health, it's not about eating disorders, it's just a lovely, bright, colourful, fun, learning-based sort of book. So I'm delighted to welcome the Rainbow Blots and Carlie Wright, the author. So Carlie, welcome to this slightly bonkers book festival we're running. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you do, and how you came to be writing this, and how you managed to get Fergie to be reading it out, I believe.
Thank you, Ian, and thank you very much to Independent Thinking for the whole team behind putting this book festival on. I've been watching along and it's been brilliant. So yes, so I'm Carlie Wright. I've always been creative, but I've only started writing children's books since 2019. Before then, the medium for my creativity has been music, specifically piano when I was younger. And then wanting that sense of community, I developed and wanted lots of choral community. And I sang with the BBC Symphony Chorus, London Philharmonic Choir, and also my choir at Cambridge, which was Christ College, Cambridge. And I just, that was where my passion was. And it was once I had, cutting forward, it was once I had my two children, sort of 16 months apart, that I changed my shift in focus, and my creative outlook became writing stories for my children and for them to enjoy and sharing those stories. It was wonderful to come back from work and cuddle up, and sometimes with a book, and sometimes I just wouldn't have a book, but we'd just make up stories together just to get their creative mind going. And it went from there. And then I started writing for fun. And, you know, I wrote one story and I thought, oh, I panicked. I thought maybe I can only write one. So let's try and write some more. Let's check I can. And I did, and they just didn't stop coming. And that's when I started getting serious, and I sent my works off to be edited, and I got that feedback. And it's when you get into that creative zone with writing that you start seeing the world in a different way, and you see ideas where other people may not. And that is exactly, it was a strange idea that kicked off the whole concept for the Rainbow Blots. So just to remind everyone, this is the finished product. And this is where it began. Now, this is a mock-up of something that my 2-year-old niece Juliet did in a little play group, and this just got my creative brain going. I mean, it was all shaky and little lines, but it just conveyed so much meaning to me. And I thought, I can do something with this. And it took me a little while. And I was like, what can I do? And then eventually, I just knew I had to put colours in them. That would be brilliant. And then I was thinking, well, there are so many colours books in the world. How can I make mine different? Why is mine going to add value to the whole education system? And why would someone want to buy my book? And that's when I realised hardly anybody teaches the rainbow colours. I mean, I don't know why. There's a rainbow song which has the colours in the wrong order, and it has pink. There's no pink in a rainbow. That's scientifically impossible. So I decided to put the record straight. Especially, and just to get it out there, I was 11 years old. I was a smart kid, and it was a general knowledge quiz. And I didn't win because I thought the second colour of the rainbow was yellow. It's not, as you can see, it is orange.
Red and yellow and pink and blue. That's the song, isn't it? I was lied to by all those children's presenters with their guitars in the 1970s. I never thought about that. Yeah,
exactly. But you don't. You don't, and I'll move on to the song in a minute. So I thought, right, I'm going to write a rainbow book. And the way I did made up stories with my children was I made them quite interactive so that they could be playing along or be a hero in my story. And that's another thing that I tried to bring into the book. And then just one little bit of art that I have to show. And then this is why you might, there we go. This is something that my son drew when he was 5 years old, and this has been on my wall for 18 months. So you can see I love these little characters with no necks, and they just create so much meaning. So, you know, this was all going in the background, and so this is why my book came about. And I thought, right, so how can I do this? So I basically wrote an entire series, and the one I wanted to start with, of course, was the one that introduced colours to the children. And I've tried to do it in a really interactive way, so you can see they're coming down, and it has that sense of family. And there's lots of parts in the book where it gets the children involved. For example, at the end of here, when it introduces all the characters, the last bit is turn the page and watch them play. And, you know, my children love to literally turn the page at that point. It gets them involved. And then because they're already involved at that point where I start introducing the colours to the children, they're already there. And because I have them playing with all things of different colours, they've got the colour association there. And the other thing I have is that each block is playing with these various different objects, and children learn through play. So it's just a really lovely way of presenting it to young children. And for any educators out there, you know, I've had this, I did a reading in lockdown for a nursery group, because obviously I couldn't do author visits, but they were really interested in my book. So I did a read aloud with my daughter. And, you know, it just goes down so well with the younger age group, because they can shout out their colours, they learn the colour recognition, and it's just a really lovely little learning book.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. Is learning, I'm trying to remember teaching my kids their colours and how we did it. And I can't remember sort of specifically doing it. Is it an issue, learning colours? Is that something that some children have trouble with, or that they need extra help with?
Well, it's one of the fundamentals, isn't it? So there are loads and loads of colour books because of this, but no one does the specific rainbow colours. And I just really wanted to take that big world of colour and narrow it down. And this is all pre-pandemic, which was so it was all signed off, and the illustrator was booked before the pandemic came in. But obviously, I then spent the entire year surrounded by rainbows without my book ready yet, you know, waiting for it to happen. So it wasn't a response, but, you know, it makes it even more important, because, you know, rainbows are now pretty much associated with, you know, NHS key workers, and, you know, I want them to learn properly. And one of the things that's quite fun is when I originally wrote this, my children were in last year of preschool and also in year one. And as they were walking to school on the school run, school walk, let's be honest, there's no involved. And as I was doing my school walk, the kids they were just looking around the world and seeing and actually debating. So we've got a 4 and a 5, 6-year-old debating whether something was indigo or violet or purple. And they weren't being confused, or they were just empowered by this knowledge. It's like they had this superpower, because they could distinguish between different sorts of purple, because it's all on the spectrum. And it was wonderful. It was proper critical reasoning. And that's when I decided, yeah, I think this is the right way to go, because, you know, it's not confusing children. They're just empowered, and there's no right or wrong. You know, it's sort of, you can have that discussion, and anything, in my view, that encourages children to look at the world, reason, and, you know, have a meaningful discussion is a great thing.
I love the indigo violet one. I had never thought how close they were. It's only when I was reading your book and I had to sort of go back and work out what the difference was between them, and it's subtle, but it is there. So I can see them having those debates.
It's that dark bluey one versus that more that lighter purpley pink, but it's definitely on the purple side. So and the other thing that happened when I started doing this was the first, you know, once I had this in book form, my kids started singing the song, and they started going red, and they started correcting the old song, because they knew, unlike their 11-year-old mother, they knew that orange was the second color of the rainbow. So they started going red and orange and yellow and green, blue, indigo and violet. And I got a bit confused. So what do you do when you're that age? You try and sing it again to see if it works second time. Don't worry, I'm not going to sing you again. But they started being, they it's in the wrong order, and there's no pink in a rainbow. This song is rubbish, they announced. And I kind of agreed with them. And I will absolutely agree. It's one of the most beautiful tunes in the world. It's gorgeous, but it's wrong, and it teaches children incorrectly. And I don't believe in doing that. And so I thought, well, what am I going to do? So you go to Google, don't you? Let's go onto YouTube and let's find a proper rainbow song that teaches the right colours. And I couldn't find one. And I thought, fine, if you want something doing, you've got to do it yourself. So that's what I did, because I am a musician as well, as a finance professional and a mum and a wife, and I've got all these things going on. I thought I can do this. And so the way I composed this song that goes with it was, it was on my commutes to work, because it was cold and my car is a bit dodgy. And when it's cold, the sound system goes off. So there's no CD, there's no radio, it's just silence and me on the motorway. So I thought, right, fine, I will use this time to compose my song, because I might as well create my own music. And that's how I did it. And I composed it on these commutes. And I played, and I sort of sang it to my kids just to see if they were following and if they were interested, and they loved it. And what I then did was I had it animated in 2D using the characters from the Rainbow Blots. And you can find that on my YouTube channel. And what it does is it gives children another medium of learning, because some children learn visually, some children learn by looking at a book, and others through song. And songs are so pivotal, as you know. You've just sang me the I Can Sing a Rainbow song.
Yeah.
And it's still in your brain, and it's wrong, and it's been your brain. So my mission is to put a new song into your brain and into teachers' brains across the world, basically, who are English.
I need to get Mary Hopkins out of it, don't I? Get out of my brain, Mary Hopkins. She was leading the charge in that era.
Yeah, I mean that would be brilliant. I mean that's just a key thing for me. For me, I've won the Rainbow Blots and the song, which is called "Do You Know the Colours of the Rainbow?" There are 7 to see: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and indigo, and violet is special to me. And it carries on. It's got a bridge section, but it teaches about the rainbow as well, and the weather and the relationship between them. And it's nice and simple, and it's so catchy. It doesn't go out of your head once you've heard it, I'm afraid. So I warn you in advance. But as an educational tool to teach colours, it's so important to know the songs there, because as a teacher, you'd want to know that if you've got a book which is going to teach you rainbow colours, and then there's a song which teaches something in a different way, then that's going to cause confusion. So what I've done is I've come with a complete product. And then I did one more thing. So the nursery rhyme version of "Do You Know the Colours of the Rainbow" is, it's a nice thing for the younger age group. But then I thought, how often is it we get a chance to introduce a new nursery rhyme to the world? They've all been done, and the rainbow was done, but it wasn't done right. So I thought, right, let's get and with the world is changing, isn't it? Everyone is now more inclusive, aware of diversity, and I thought, fine. So when I introduce this nursery rhyme to the world, I want to do one with British Sign Language as well. I mean, I don't want us to stop there. I'd love it to be translated into ASL and all different languages. But I started off with British Sign Language, and I've had it translated. I've got the signs, and I've got the tutorials that can go into schools, and they're free, and they're on my website and on my YouTube channel. And it's a slightly different rhythm to the nursery rhyme version, because it's a bit more dancey, a bit more relatable to older children, and it also, with a different rhythm, allows time to do the symbols. So you've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And the entire song is signed. And I just thought, I'd love everyone to buy my book, but the song is my gift to the world, because it's not there, and it needs to be there. And I want it I want it to be inclusive. So it's been signed, and it's a free educational resource that I've tried to put out there.
That's how lovely. Do orange again.
Orange, like freezing an orange.
It should be going when you do that. That's the sound in my head for that bit. But
you can make any sounds you want, but I prefer you to be singing my song at the same time. But that's also on my YouTube channel, so if you feel free to look.
I want to hear a little bit from the book, but there's something in my head from what you said at the beginning, and it's about creativity. And I get the impression, and this is the first time we've talked, but I get the impression from what you've described that you're just there's like a fountain of creativity in you, and it's got to come out somehow. And it was coming out through the music, and then that changed, so it came out in a different way. Do you feel is that a way to describe your creativity? Is that something we can nurture in children?
It is. I mean, but everyone's different. I mean, some children don't relate well to music. Some children don't like reading. There's different mediums, which is why I wanted to address through the medium of song and through the medium of pictures and through the medium of writing. So because I'm a musician, I do most of my other storybooks are written in rhyme, because that just works for my brain. This the Rainbow Blots is written partly in rhyme, partly not, because rhyme isn't the be all and end all of everything. My primary purpose for this book is to teach the rainbow colours. So it was important for me to have some nice engaging rhyme, but also then just to stop the rhyme and go, that leads nicely into a little bit of a reading, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So here we go. So it starts off with a little picture. Can I do it like that? Yes, I think. Yeah. So Mummy Rainbow lowers down her blots. Have fun, she says. Learn lots and lots. Here are the rainbow blots. They are playful, happy rainbow spots. Hello, everyone, they say. The blots want to show you their colours today. Turn the page and watch them play. So then we have the rhyme stopping because the educational point comes in, and there we go. This is Red Blot. Red Blot loves to play with red things. And then we have all the different illustrations beautifully done by Victoria Mickey. She's got such a wicked sense of humour, and it just shines through, as you can see. They're absolutely gorgeous. I'm not going to show you all the double spreads, but I will just quickly pop to the end one, which is indigo, because it was important for me to have a baby right at the end, because I haven't gone to many play groups and toddler groups. You get so, it's just, you think your child is the smallest one there, and then someone brings a baby, and then all the toddlers just go, baby. And they really understand that sense that they are older than someone else. I wanted them to have that feeling in the book. And I've done a reading in a church car park, massively socially distanced. You know, it was 5 meters. I was just showing the book all around to everybody. But even then, you know, they all pointed and went, baby, because they understand. So, and then because it's an educational book, it's important, once I've introduced all the concepts, to have a recap. So it's, and I invite, you know, the children to say them together. So I really love, when I do my storybooks, I like it to be nice and interactive. So, you know, the parents can be sharing this time with their children or the teachers. And then just because I just wanted a little bit of humour in there. So wait, there's a special trick that they can do. And if you have a quick look what's in their hands, they've all got one thing. And their special trick is that they can turn into their favourite thing. And that's just adorable. I just love it. And then I'll just do the final spread, which is where they're all asleep in their beds. Mm-hmm. So it's great to read as a bedtime story as well. You can get some learning in there, and then at the end they're all, I know, lots, it's time for bed, come home and rest your sleepy heads. So it's just it's a nice story just to for circle time, just to nice relax at the end. So it's something that's just, it's a lovely education. Oh yes, I forgot that bit. And there's an activity page. And for anyone who's going, oh no, but there's only one page where I can draw my own blot, don't panic, because you can go to my website where there are some free downloadable printables, and it's got that actual page, and it's also got some colouring in and some word searches for the older ones. But you know, if you're teaching this in school, and when I'm doing all my author visits, you know, I get them to print out these colorings, because you know, when I'm going around and talking, well, Zoom, I'm not physically going around at the moment, but when I'm talking to the children, they can be colouring at the same time, and that physical colouring in red blot of a red, it's another creative way for them to learn. And that's important. So
no, I like that. And this isn't a facetious comment, but have you come across children using it? I'm thinking of the boys who we realize they're colorblind at that age. I've got people in my life who show color blindness, and I'm just wondering if you've had any experience of children interacting with it in that way. Yeah. Not yet.
I'm sure there will be, but you know, they pick that up with other colors as well. So yeah. It's a color book, and some people unfortunately are colorblind, but then they can at least it's a shame, but that's a
it was just interesting at what age that sort of presents itself. It is such a lovely, colourful, beautiful, interactive book. I said at the beginning that we've covered all sorts of complex issues in these interviews, and here's just a lovely, beautiful book. And what I always underestimate is the amount of thought and research and experience that is embedded in what looks like a simple book.
It's a very simple looking book and a very simple looking copy. It's not, and especially I've done the sequel, the Rainbow Blots Learn Numbers is coming out soon, and again it's going to look so simple and like I've knocked it out, but oh no, there's a lot of thought goes into it, and it's an award-winning book. It's won a gold from Busy Baby, and that's deep, because you have to have 3 independent testers literally they're given about 10 questions each, and they have to grade you on that, and only the best get the gold. And I've had a bronze from UK Mums TV for the preschool and baby category, which I was absolutely thrilled at, because that's right at the lower end of my age category. I mean, I set it at 1 to 6, but it's proven that even for the really little ones that they get on so well with it.
And the Fergie connection, very quickly.
Well, I sent it in, and she's got waiting list, but I think she just loved the cover and just went, right, I'm reading that. So I sent it in. I was lucky enough to get selected. There's hundreds of books, and she reads one of five a week, but not everyone's selected. So I was absolutely thrilled. Yeah, she loved it. So that's great. It's had over 7,000 views already.
Excellent.
So all publicity is great. And
so we've done a deal for the Independent Thinking Book Festival with the Roving Bookshop. So I think your book's available through them, and but also you've got your own website. So just give us that on your social media. And I'll put the caption down. It's
carliewright.com, and actually all of my social media handles are built into my website if you scroll down the bottom. But my general handle for everything is at Carlie Wright Author, except for Twitter, because that's too many characters for Twitter. So I'm Carlie Wright now. Everything else, Carlie Wright Author. My book is available instantly on Amazon and worldwide, that is. So UK, USA, Canada, etc. So, and it's kind of had loads of 5-star reviews, because when people read it, it's just bright and colourful and educational. It gets the children talking about colour association, and it helps their language development.
It's lovely. And I like the fact that it was driven by putting right or wrong. That's been going for decades.
It's a niche in the market.
Social justice book. That's what this is. Musical.
That's it. And the reason why there's never been another Rainbow song apart from mine is because it's not easy to do. And it took me. I thought I'd knock one out overnight, and it didn't. It took a couple of months for me to. Well, actually, it took the silence of my commute to go, right, let's do this. But it's there, and it's out there, and hopefully it will take over the world.
Nothing rhymes with orange, so they say. So I mean, that's a problem, isn't it? It's easy to put pink in.
Yeah, I didn't write. No, I rhymed it with the yellow instead. Yellow and indigo. Perfect.
You know what you do. You're a pro. Very good. Lovely to speak to you, Carlie. Good luck with it all.
Thank you so much, Ian, and thank you, Independent Thinking.
That's all right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.